Welcome to the Sales Influence Podcast, where we talk about finding the why in how people buy. I'm your host, Victor Antonio. Thank you for joining me. Quick reminder, if you haven't checked out my salesmasteryacademy.us site, you have to go check it out. Great programs on there to help you increase your sales. Now, the reason I start out with that is because I have a story that is going to blow your mind. Here it is. Now, this falls under the category of no train, no gain. No train, no gain. Here's my story. This is true. This just happened a couple of days ago. So, I am in the market for a drone. Yes, I want a drone. I've been wanting a drone for more than a year now, but I couldn't mentally justify how I was going to use the drone, okay? So it wasn't a money issue. It was more like, if I get it, how will I use it? So now I have some ideas on how to use a drone, right? Some video concepts I want to, basically work on. So I'm ready to buy a drone. I am ready to buy a drone. So I head over to Best Buy. I love Best Buy. Let me just say this up front. I love Best Buy. I love going into Best Buy. It's like you feel like a kid in an electronic candy store when you go to Best Buy. I love the layout. I love the products they have there. I'm a Best Buy fan. That said, I'm so disappointed with Best Buy. Here's what happened. So I go in there. Got my wife with me, walk into the store. I am straight, headed right for the drones. I'm going straight to the drones. Nothing else is going to distract me. Where are the drones? I get to the drone section, and if you haven't been to Best Buy, you should go just to see the drone section. I mean, it is a drone section. And they had about 5 different drones at least. And I'm looking, some of these models I've never seen before, right? So I'm like that little kid with his head, his face pressed against the glass, looking at stuff going, which drone am I gonna get, right? So then this guy walks over, one of the salespeople there walks over, he says, "Excuse me, sir, can I help you?" And I said, like a typical, buyer, I said, "Well, right now I'm just looking, but if I have any questions, I'll let you know." And he says, "Great. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'm here to help." That's what he said. So I'm looking at the different drones, and then I spot one that really stood out, and I'm watching the video. You know how they have the video there with the drone? I'm watching the video, and the company's called Typhoon. Talk about giving them promotion here. Typhoon, right? So I'm looking at the Phantom. I look at GoPro's new, drone as well. I look at the Typhoon, and I'm like, oh, what is this? And there were a couple others, but the Typhoon drone caught my attention, right? So I'm watching the video, and it has these features that I really like. One being, this auto follow feature where the drone you can actually program the drone to follow you. Okay, so I thought that was cool. So at that point, I'm ready to really consider a drone now, to make a buying decision. I am so ready. My credit card is ready to come out of my pocket. That's how ready I am to buy this drone. So I go over there and I get the sales guy, says, "All right, I got some questions. Can you come over? I'm ready to make a decision." So we're looking at the drones, right? The case of all the different drones. I said, that one right there, that Typhoon drone right there. Tell me something about that drone. I said, "I've watched the video. Tell me something about the drone." And then he kind of pauses for a second. He says, "Well, it's one of our newer drones." To which I said, "Yes." And he says, and it has it can film in 4K. And I'm like, "Yes." It says that right on the actual, the little sticker thing that gives you the information. And after another 1 or 2 things he said, that's all he had. That's all he had. I said, "But, so what's the difference?" I said, when you look at the Typhoon drone versus the Phantom drone, the GoPro drone, and I said, what are some differences here I should be considering that maybe I haven't thought of, right? Now, stop here. If you've heard my past podcasts, I always talk about insight. That's what customers want. Insight, information beyond the obvious. Tell me something I don't know. Tell me something I haven't thought about, and then you'll position yourself as an expert in my eyes. So I'm waiting for this moment to happen, for this gentleman to share some insight with me. When I asked him, what are the differences? What are some things I should consider? Because again, I'm risk averse. I'm about to make a buying decision. The one I'm looking at, the Typhoon, was with tax and everything, it was going to be $1,500. And I am ready to pay that $1,500. That's how ready I am to get this drone. And again, I asked him, a couple more questions. I asked him, well, what about this and what about that? And then finally it hit me. He doesn't know. And then I asked him, I said, excuse me, do you own a drone? And he says, pause, no, I don't. And at that point, you could hear the record stop, you know what I mean? Or the crickets in the background, because I'm like, so I'm talking to somebody who doesn't own a drone, knows nothing about drones, and he's going to try to sell me on a drone. I'm thinking to myself, why did you say you wanted to help me when you don't know anything about drones? And so I didn't say that, but that's what's racing through my mind. But as a buyer, now I'm left confused. I don't know what the real differences are. And everything he tells me, I already know. But it's almost like I need another layer of information to really make a buying decision. And again, I am ready to plunk down $1,500. And, one of the things I want to remind people, if you sell a product today, if you sell a service, here's the phrase, always be a product of the product. What does that mean? If you sell a certain product, make sure you use the product. If you're a drone salesman, then use a drone. Know how to use a drone. If you're selling cameras, use a camera. Be a product of what you're selling. Be a product of the product. Now, for all I know, this poor guy wasn't given the proper training by Best Buy, or in defense of Best Buy, maybe he was given the proper training and it just didn't stick. Whatever the case is, the salesperson was not ready for me. Now, the salesperson was not ready, so the person really responsible for that is the manager of that store. So again, the salesperson wasn't trained. I'm walking in there, I have money, and in the end, you know what I said? You know what? Let me think about it, because I'm not sure. I actually said, let me think about it. It was my way of leaving the store because I just didn't know how to make a buying decision. I didn't know which one to choose. And when I don't know which one to choose, I'd rather choose nothing at all. Now, there's 4 losers in this whole drama. Best Buy is a loser because, again, think about it. I walked out of there with $1,500 I wanted to give them. What if they had, let's say, for example, let's run some quick numbers. They have 10 employees working at Best Buy, and this happened one time to each of those employees. And let's say that the average person wanting to buy electronics will spend $500 to $1,500. If they're losing one sale a day per employee, that means they may be losing out on $5,000 to $15,000 per day. That's revenue walking out the door because they simply don't have the people trained. And again, in defense of Best Buy, I don't know what training was done or wasn't done. Maybe this guy was new. I don't know. The second loser is the employee. Because now that person didn't close a deal. That person gets no sense of satisfaction that he actually helped anybody. The third loser is this company, Typhoon, whose drone I was really interested in buying. Now, I didn't buy it because I wasn't sure. In other words, they were selling their products through Best Buy, a reseller. And maybe they're the losers because I would have bought their drone if that person had been trained. And number 4, the ultimate loser is me because I still don't have a drone. And I'm bummed out about that. Now, what does this all have to do with selling? That if you don't know your product or your service and you try to sell something you don't understand or you don't use, you'll never be that effective. In order to be able to provide insight, information beyond the obvious, to position yourself as a trusted advisor, you need to really dig into your product, really understand it better than your clients. Keep 2 things in mind. 1, always be a product of the product. 2, if you don't train, there is no gain. Keep that in mind. That's it for this Sales Influence podcast. I feel so much better after telling you this story. Will I get a drone? I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, don't forget to leave me some feedback on iTunes, Stitcher, or YouTube. Let me know what you think. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you for allowing me to rant. Also, again, check out my new online sales training platform, the Sales Mastery Academy. 24 courses, 300 plus videos, my 13 books on sales and motivation, webinars, and so much more. Again, I priced it so anyone can afford it. So if you're serious about increasing your sales ability, check out salesmasteryacademy.us. That's salesmasteryacademy.us. Lastly, I want to thank you for listening. This is Victor Antonio, always reminding you, selling ain't hard when you know how. Take care. Hi, I'm Victor Antonio. I'm an author, sales trainer, and keynote speaker. I'm often asked, what makes a great speaker? Is it someone who delivers real content that the audience can use? Is it someone who engages the audience so they're part of the learning experience? Or is it someone who can motivate an audience to push them beyond their comfort zone and discover new abilities? The answer is yes. But the most important thing to remember is that I'm not there to look good. I'm there to make my client look good. Simply put, it's never about me, and it's always about them.